Hey, what's up, everybody? It is your girl JoJo, and I'm here with the review for Make a Move Season 1, Episode 3. I did not get to do the show last week. I started reviewing it, and then it just lost me, you guys. But I did watch the episode last week, so I do want to talk a little bit about it, and I'll just put a minute marker for when the conversation starts for this episode in case you want to fast forward. So I hope you guys are doing well today. Let's jump into episode 2 first. The only thing I have to say about episode 2 is that I knew these two mean girls were gonna butt heads. The whole time they were arguing, all I could think to myself was, I wish Janelle was here to really set this party off. I really wanted Janelle to step in, wig full of hair, just lopsided, and coming in there saying, as black women, sometimes the world just can't take us and we can't take each other. I wanted her to come in there and say something that didn't make sense and then make it black. But alas, Janelle is not there. Maybe she'll be here on a future episode. But I knew these two were going to butt heads. Basically, you guys saw it last week. It's really more so about Zadia not wanting to cop to what she did, not in front of the coach anyway. She felt like it was something Charisse could have had a conversation with her about. Charisse did not appreciate, baby girl must not get up early because she ain't never going to let Zadia forget about waking her up out of her bed. Zadia, she's slick with it now. She will tell you a lie straight to your face if it means she gonna have a conversation with you later. So she was like, I'm sticking with my lie because I'm about to see you behind closed doors. And when her and Charisse did have a conversation, it went left. Charisse, I think, was taking digs in the kitchen when she kept bringing up the guy that Zadia was talking to. She was trying to get Zadia to say something. And finally, Zadia took the bait. Do I think they're both kind of unfriendly? Yes. I think Charisse can let this go. Just let it go. Just say, hey, I ain't feel like having a conversation with you. I feel like calling you out because you woke me up, so I called you out. And Zadia could say, okay, well, in the future, if you don't say nothing to me, then I'm not saying nothing to you. And then they could have just deaded it because they're never going to agree on what happened. As far as the house rules, me personally, you guys, call me a stick in the mud. I wouldn't want men in the house either. This is where I lay my head at night. You might feel comfortable, you dating him, y'all having conversations, but I don't really know him like that. And I know production supposed to vet all these people, but let me just have a space for me. Titties flopping, cellulite out. I ain't got on no girdle. I ain't got no makeup on. I'm looking like a raccoon. I don't really want to see nobody. So that's kind of how I would have been about it. And I understood where Charisse is coming from. I just felt like she was just going on and on and on about it, and we could have deaded it. Ashley and Vernisha were over it, and rightfully so. As far as the dates they went on, I feel like everybody made the right choice. I'm interested to see Zadia's guy, the one that she likes, interested to see him open up a little bit more in this episode, I hope, because I felt like on their date, he was in his head. And because he works a lot and he's built a lot for himself, which is awesome, he kind of has in his mind that he's lame. And there's nothing lame about building a business for yourself and being into comics or anime, because I think he mentioned something about him being a nerd and photography. There's nothing wrong with those things. Zadia actually found them to be cool. So I just wish he would get out of his head, lead with his confidence, and, know that there are women who are gonna like the things he likes. Is it gonna be every woman? No. As a fellow weird hoe, there's things that I like that men be like, no thanks. And you ain't fine enough for me to be putting up with all of that. So I understand everybody's not going to like you, but I'm not about to get down in the dumps about it, nor am I going to be talking down about myself on the date. And he was doing like just a little smidge of that. So hopefully the conversation that they had all night when he pulled up on Zadia, and they just talked in the car. I mean, they could have. I've done that before. Hopefully that will get him to open up more on this episode that we're about to watch. What else did I have to say? I think that was it. I think that was it. Let's get into episode 3. Okay, episode 3 picks up where we left off. The same argument. Like, I'm not even finna go through it. Just dead it. Just dead it. Y'all not gonna get along, whatever. So Vernisha and Ashley are over it. Ashley just gonna cook for these girls. Vernisha wants them to fix it and put that energy into finding a man, honey. And now they're about to go on some dates. But Zadia, it seems like she has been put on another blind date. So we're about to see where she's about to go and who she's about to go with. But it's not Cameron. I think that's his name. Cameron, who she likes and who she, she was sitting up in the car with in the evening times. So let's see what we got. Okay, so there are a couple of different things going on. We've got some blind dates. So Ashley goes out with, I think you say this guy's name, Kirsten. I wrote it down. Is it Kristen? He's tall and bald headed. So that's Ashley's type. She's excited. She's sweating, child. It's just hot in New Orleans, though. But immediately they do have a lot of back and forth banter, which is not hard to have with Ashley. I feel like she's one of those personalities where unless you don't like extremely outgoing people, it would be really hard not to get along with her. And she carries a lot of the conversation as well. But he was holding his own. I was laughing when they talked about their Chick-fil-A order because I was like, oh, baby girl, you don't play around. Not a 12-piece. Okay, I'm an 8-piece girl myself. I only get a 12 when I'm splurging and I'm real hungry. But go ahead, girls. Y'all little petite girls be liking to eat. So then after their date, he goes on a date with Zadia. You can clearly see the differences in the two dates. I couldn't figure out what was going on in the beginning with him and Zadia. Did he find her to be so attractive he didn't have a lot of words, or was he not attracted to her? He said she was attractive, but he just seemed to kind of be like staring at her for a minute. So I couldn't figure out what he had going on. And then, Zadia is not going to help you out with that. If you stared at her, she's going to be staring right back at you. But they definitely didn't have as much chemistry. He wants kids. Zadia is only looking to have kids if it's the right type of deal. I will say that Zadia and it scares me, the similarities that leap out between us, because y'all know how I feel about kids as well. I'm only having them with somebody who has a lot of finances to offer, because them mugs is expensive and you not finna take me out when I'm the one doing you a favor, because baby, I was fine without him. So yeah, Zadia's like, I'm willing to gift one. So they probably wouldn't be a good match anyway, and they didn't really have a lot of conversation going on. It was just a lot of looking, and it was just weird and awkward and standoffish. And then with Ashley, it was a lot more natural, so she'll have some decisions to make later. Then we have Vernisha going out with Walter, as well as Charisse going out with Walter. I actually feel like both of the dates went well, although of course I felt like he was more drawn to and had a more natural chemistry to Vernisha. They did do an activity together, and I think doing activities together takes some of the awkwardness out of a date. So that could have been why they had more chemistry. But Walter is, he does some type of writing or production, because he said he's produced for some pretty major names that he was naming. T-Pain, if you write or do anything for T-Pain is an amazing production artist himself. So that's pretty good for him. He's looking to settle down. He was really good at keeping the flow of conversation going. He said that he was attracted to both women. He doesn't really have a type. He's looking at your heart, which, yeah, he a grown man for real, because you know how most of these men be looking at that face, that body, and then we will look at your heart. But he's been married before. He was married 19 years. I'm interested to know what happened there. I really am. That's a long time to be married to somebody. So he did say 19, right? Not 9. I'll go back and look. So yeah, I thought both of the dates went well, but I definitely think the one between him and Vernisha, I don't know. He was kind of pushed up on Vernisha a little bit, right? So I definitely think he was a little bit more drawn to her. With Charisse, I feel like he was attracted to her, but he also didn't really. It's like he was kind of trying to fill out if she also liked him and she was also attracted. Charisse, you do kind of come off uninterested. You and Zadia do that, actually. When y'all come on dates, it's kind of like I wish y'all could see my face, like a look you up and down, like, okay, like, what do we have here? Peasant, what are you offering? So I don't know if you guys mean to give off that energy, but sometimes it kind of feels like that. But yeah, the dates, I think, between Ashley and Vernisha went the best. And then Charisse is probably third, and then Zadia's would be fourth, as far as the blind dates go. Charisse goes on a date with Mr. Louis Vuitton, Maurice. He's still not really talking to her. I don't know what Charisse is going to do in this process. She really doesn't have that many suitors that are interested in her like that. The one that she does have is a mute. He's not really saying anything to her when they go on dates. She's trying to open up the floor for conversation. And he's like, all the questions that I needed to ask, I've already asked. And I'm a man that pays attention. I'm just like, quit being a weirdo and talk. People have to talk. People have to engage in conversation. Like, what are you doing, boy? Get out of my face. So they have this dry picnic that was cringy. Then there's this music playing in the background. Child, it's just a mess. I did want to say something before I move into the next part of the show. On Vernisha and Walter's date, they talk about relocating. This is where the show pisses me off. And this is where I start not taking the show seriously. Because yes, there are times where people have to do long distance dating. But you really think that we believe that these career women are going to move to New Orleans, where I don't even know if the job market is that great in New Orleans. I'm not really sure. But they're going to move to New Orleans strictly for love from wherever they're living right now. The four of them, if they meet somebody out there, they're going to make that move. Or this man who is already doing well in New Orleans is going to make that move. Like, I don't know. Like, love is not a fairy tale. There's logistics that have to be worked out. So even though Walter was like, if two people want to make something work, they will. But long distance relationships take a certain level of discipline. It takes a certain mindset. You have to really get out of your ego. You can't be insecure. It's a lot of different things that go into being in a long distance relationship, and everybody can't do it. Most people can't do it, I don't think. So y'all pissing me off. Y'all know this ain't gonna work in real. Let me calm down. So anyway, Charisse's date was a bust. Then we move on to the ladies discovering that they dated the same guy. Zadia and Ashley both dated the guy, and Ashley has a raving review of him. And Zadia, she stays kind of tight-lipped, but of course hers was not as good. But then Charisse comes in the room and she asks Ashley, can they have a private conversation? So Ashley excuses herself. The conversation started out good to me. Like, I think Zadia did a good job of trying to move forward. I got to give her props where props are due. She needs to let go of, like, the other half of it. Like, when she was trying to say, but I just don't like nobody telling my business. And, yeah, I mean, I don't know, potato. They probably was going to find out anyway. But Charisse, like, girl, just go home. Because you saw she was trying to resolve it. Let it get resolved. Just say, you know what, girl? You're right. I could have discussed it with you, but you had woke me up and you pissed me off. So I told on you. And in the future, girl, you ain't got to lie. But she just, I don't deal with liars. I don't deal with frauds. I don't deal with fake people. I don't care about being liked, obviously. Because not only do your dates not like you, but it seems like you're going to alienate the women in the house as well. Charisse, you can just go. I never thought I'd see the day. Never thought I'd see the day where I saw somebody who was getting on my nerves. Well, actually, Zadia never really got on my nerves. I just thought she was a tad bit rude. But you sitting up here making her look like a nice person. So imagine how you got to be cutting up to do that. But she just getting on my nerves, y'all. She too old to be as superficial as she is. Nobody should really be superficial, but she just too grown for it. They're always looking at somebody's style and clothes. Like, okay, I mean, you want your man to be well groomed, that's fine, but this other stuff is more important. Move, Charisse. Move. Okay, so next we have Ashley, Zadia, Cameron, and Donald. They're going on a double date. So before the guys get there, Ashley is telling Zadia, listen, I don't know about me and Donald. We were doing good for a little bit, but I ain't heard from Donald in 2 days, and the communication was flowing, and then all of a sudden it stopped. So I have a question, ladies, that I want to insert here. Do we, and gentlemen, you can chime in too, do we expect to talk to a suitor that we are not exclusive with every day? Let me know the answer to that question. Anyway, so she hasn't heard from him in 2 days, and she has an issue with that. And so she's going to talk to him about it. Oh, and just to give my opinion, I don't think you have to talk every day if we're not exclusive. I'm assuming that, you know, we're all doing our thing or whatever. However, I do tell men all the time, Don't start a habit that you can't continue, because if you are a woman who gets used to routines like I do, don't mess up my routine with your shenanigans. All right. If you don't text every day, all day, don't start with me. You ain't got to do all of that. I don't need all of that. So don't start nothing that you don't intend to keep up. But every day, I don't know if I necessarily need that, but you guys can let me know. So anyway, Cameron shows up, and y'all, Cameron is smitten. He cannot get over how similarly him and Zadia are dressed. He just can't believe it. They're telepathic at this point. And then he says that he tells her she looks really good. And it's just the way he's looking at her. He's kind of like cheesy smiling. I said, bless his boy's heart. Zadia, don't hurt him too bad. So then Donald Duck shows up, and he just coming in there all cool like he did nothing wrong. And Ashley lets him know pretty quickly, I ain't really feeling you like that because you didn't return my messages. Not return my messages. I haven't heard from you in 2 days. And he was like, what? What you talking about? I texted you. And she was like, I don't have any text from you. So he's showing his phone with messages that he sent her. And she's showing her phone with an empty message box. Now, he says that either it's an Android, iPhone. I said, please, Donald Duck, do not get these niggas started. Don't get these niggas started. Listen, I got both. And I will tell you, everybody know I'm team Android. I'm sorry. It is what I prefer. The only reason I got an iPhone is because I got nieces and family, and they was tired of me messing up the group chat and all of that. But baby, I keep my other phone on me, especially when it's photo taking time. But so they're comparing notes. I was like, one of y'all got T-Mobile. Obviously, somebody's signal was down. As an Android user, we can fake a text. Not sure if y'all knew that, but there are ways to do that. So he could have done it, but I doubt he would have had time to do it on the fly like that. Unless he did it before he came, but he just doesn't strike me as a guy that's that smart or prepared. So I don't think he did that. Somebody truly had a signal problem somewhere, I think. And Donald, you need to do a little bit better. Quit trying to lay game and do a whole bunch of jokes and flattery. Just stop all of that. Be original, be real. Be yourself, and keep up with the communication that you started with, because you started it. Shoot, anybody asked you to do all that? But now that we're here, go ahead and keep it up. But yeah, what did you guys think about that scene? Let's move on, because I believe Vernisha has a date. All right, so Vernisha goes on a date with Jabari, and this date was interesting because I don't know, y'all. I was getting a little bit of podcast, bro. It was given just a smidge. And listen, I know that just about every man watched some podcast somewhere. But when you giving it off, like when you start giving out the talking points, and when I can tell you trying to size me up and debate me, don't nobody want to go on no date and be sized up and questioned to see if you might be one of the girls they talk about on the show. I'm a real person. I'm a real person, not a subject. And so don't nobody want to be going on no date to get, what is the word? I can't think of the word, like analyzed. Don't analyze me. And so I kind of felt like he was about to start doing that. But he was asking Vernisha, like, what do you think about traditional roles? And what do you think about gender roles? And she was like, well, I do think a man is supposed to provide and protect. The words even coming out of my mouth, I already am rolling my eyes. I'm so tired of damn provide and protect, provide and protect, provide and protect. Y'all act like this is new. They've been doing this since the caveman days. Y'all act like this is new information, but oh God, let me not start. But provide and protect and keep a roof over his family's head. To me, Vernisha sounds very traditional. However, she may have not been able to find anybody that meets those standards. So she just been taking care of herself, but she doesn't necessarily want to do that. I don't feel like she made that clear on the date. I feel like she started switching her answer based on how Jabari was reacting to her response. So Jabari was like, well, I'm an employee. So like, I'm not an entrepreneur. So what's your cap? Like how much money you talking? Because Vernisha did mention she was an entrepreneur. And she was like, I'm going to say that I would like my person to be doing very well financially. Like she didn't lie about that part. but he wanted to know a dollar amount. That whole exchange, I was just like, Vernisha, I don't think you made yourself clear. To me, it sounded like you shifted to, you went from, I would love for somebody to be there for me so that I could turn my brain off and take my foot off the gas. You went from that, but in the conversation, you went from that in your confessionals. And in the conversation, you were saying, well, yeah, and this economy two is always better than one. And we definitely can put something together. But I'm just like, don't do that, ladies. If you want something, whether they think you a gold digger or whatever, because she was trying to defend herself, whatever they think about you is going to be your business. And this is not me saying be an asshole or be a B word, because I want you to be clear about what your standards are and what you want from me. If you want a homemaker, if you want somebody that's going to cook and clean, let me know. Don't tell me you want one thing, get me, right? Tell me you cool with me, and then start resenting me for things that I'm not doing. I would rather know on the front end. And I feel that way no matter what gender you are. I'd rather just know on the front end if I'm what you want, because we may not be compatible. The future may not be compatible for us. Yes, there are compromises you can make, but there's just some things that you may not want in your life and I may not want in mine. And I just don't think we should. I think it's dangerous to start pretending that that's not what you want. So yeah, I feel like Vernisha did a little bit of that. Did y'all see it or am I tripping? But yeah, let's move on. Whew. All right, you guys, we are at the end of the episode. I am out of breath because I just got out of the gym. When I do these videos, like I'm watching the show usually while I'm doing stuff, and sometimes like while I'm at work, and then I'll get distracted for an hour. So it's like a half a day review. All right, so we are talking to the coach, Tamika, and I'm not saying that it's going to end up like Ready to Love, but I did have a little bit of an issue with Tamika introducing the whole aspect of the ladies dating the same guy, because that was one of my frustrations with Ready to Love, and I kind of was relieved that they had a show where they could really clear their mind and take their time to choose the right guy and not get in a cat fight over the right guy and just choose a guy just for the sake of having one. You know what I'm saying? But and although that could happen in any situation, it gave a different vibe when it wasn't so competitive. But I'm just hoping that it's not going to introduce that aspect again. Now that there are some guys that 2 ladies or 3 ladies or whatever may be interested in, they kind of take Ashley takes the all of the women are beautiful, we're all great, we're all good catches. So even if I'm not the one that gets chosen, the guy isn't losing. Like, I'm not going to be a hater about it. But Ashley, baby, you sweet. That's your heart. I have a feeling that at least one person in that group ain't going to really feel the way you feel. But we don't have to worry about that quite yet because of what ends up happening. So she lets them know that they got to make some choices. And I want to start with Zadia because she's the easiest. Zadia ends up, of course, asking Cameron to stick around. She loves how easygoing they are, the flow of the conversation. With Kirsten, although the date was okay and he kind of lost her with the silent prayer, they just don't connect the way her and Cameron do, which is good. I actually do feel like they have a really good connection thus far. All right, so the next person I want to cover is Vernisha. I was really surprised that Vernisha did not choose Walter. I don't know why. I mean, I know her and Jabari had a decent date, but I still don't feel like they're on the same page with things. I really don't. And y'all see next week, Jabari, I don't know what the conversation is about, but there's something that's going to come up. I think it's about dating exclusively versus dating other guys. And Vernisha says, until we locked in, it's fair game. And he looked offended by that in the previews. And I don't know, like I just wasn't getting those good-natured vibes. I'm not like that. I was getting good-natured vibes from Jabari, but when it comes to relationships, I believe there's a side of himself that he is not showing, and that at the least suspecting moment, it's going to rear its ugly head, and that fun-loving, goofy guy that you were talking to before is gonna start saying some wild things out of his mouth. That's the kind of vibes he's giving me, and this is a dating show, so I hope he didn't expect somebody to just be exclusive to him. But I guess we're going to find out next week because I don't want to misinterpret what's going on. Then Charisse, another one. I was really surprised that neither her nor Vernisha picked Walter. I thought Walter would have been somebody nice to go out with again. Especially for Charisse. Maurice is a mute. He keeps talking about how he's an open book. Well, can we see the damn pages? Can you open it up? Because right now we at those 4 blank pages in the beginning where the copyright is. Who are you, Maurice? And if y'all zoom in on his toes one more time, I'm gonna fight somebody in production. I don't really like mandals. I'm not a mandals girl. Like, I mean, if you do it, it ain't a deal breaker, but I'm gonna be looking at your feet like, what you got the mandals on for? Unless you're from them islands, because they do stuff a little different. They feet different. They got healthy feet. American feet not healthy. Our feet not even shaped right because we don't walk around barefoot enough. Oh, yeah, don't get me started, y'all, talking about no feet, y'all, because I could go on all day. But, yeah, I was really surprised at Charisse. You don't really have good options. Maurice is a mute. He's a closed open book. He's sitting there talking and just smiling and popping his collar. I said, this man is a sociopath. He's crazy. I feel confident about my chance. Why? Why do you feel confident? He looks like a goofball. He actually looks like a guy that I know, and I can't put my finger on. Ooh, y'all, I just remember who it was. It's this guy I used to work with, and he too thought he was a dynamic catch. Child, he was out here trying to holler at a girl young enough to be his daughter. Out here trying to fake his age. Boy, let me not tell that man business, but that's who Maurice remind me of. So, no, Charisse. I think you're making a mistake. But she says, even though you don't really communicate, I'm trying to talk like Charisse. I like the way that you communicate. Like, the way you don't say so. I'm like, what? What the hell is going on? And how many cutout dresses does this woman have? You and Vernisha, y'all gonna stop trying to slide on what you want to appease these guys, because it's not gonna work out in your favor. And last but not least, you guys, Ashley. You guys know I love Ashley. I really, really do. Like, if I met her out in Atlanta, I would want to spend the day with her. That would be my girl. We would be having fun. We would be drinking. We would be twerking. We would be running the streets of Atlanta, taking all kind of pictures on a handstand. But I'm concerned about Ashley's emotions. I'm concerned about her healing. When she sits down to try to have a conversation with Donald, she is trying to make a decision. Her emotions are all over the place, and she gets emotional. She starts crying. And Donald, y'all know Donald already about awkward. So he just looking like, what y'all want me to do? I feel bad for Ashley, but I want her to be able to handle the process. I don't want her to get flustered all the time, because these are decisions that she's going to have to continue to make. And I felt bad, but then I was like, baby, why are you crying? It's going to be all right. So I think we'll find out next week why she is crying. But my friend said something to me, and it always rings true, that healing is constant. Healing is not based on you not dating for a while and taking a break. It is a constant work on yourself. And just the moment that you think you're healed, you'll find yourself in a situation where, like Ashley, you're bursting out into tears over something that you thought you were over 3 or 4 years ago. So I hope next week we find more about what's going on. And let me know what you guys thought about this week's episode. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you for the next one. Bye.